everybody, hop on the back of my Vespa and come with me, Aaron, and my friend Lincoln, and Belle, and Nikki, and we'll go down to the track and watch LACORSA, the Grand Prix Game, a game for 2 to 6 blacktop gladiators from Linea Rossa Games, designed by Mark Haskins. Let's hop in our cars and breathe some fumes.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Lincoln.
Will you teach us LACORSA, the Grand Prix Game?
See? In the next 10 minutes, you will be a professional Grand Prix driver.
Okay.
We Italians take our Grand Prix racing very seriously.
Okay.
And LACORSA means the race. And this is a cool little, not quite homemade, but locally produced and very small print run car racing game that you discovered and we bought a copy of and we think is pretty neat. So here it is. It plays 2 to 6 players, and we're going to play a team game, so each of us are going to control 2 cars. You can either play any number of players where everyone controls 1 car, or you can play teams where each of us controls 2 cars, or an actual partnership with like 4, 5, or 6 players where some teams have two players on the same team, where the red team has 2 different players working together. So in this case, we're going to have 2 decks of cards each, one for our solid color car and one for our striped color car, on this cool little wooden racetrack that we have in front of us on the middle of the table. So the deck of cards, and there are 6 suits of cards. They only matter for an optional rule, but they also tell you how many cards to put in the game. With 6 players, you use the entire 6 suits of cards. With 4 players, you would take out 2 suits. With 3 players, you would take out half the deck, etc. So there are 13 cards per car in the race. And that tells you exactly how many cards there will be.
So we could race 1 car?
2 cars.
Okay,
you would need 2.
Yeah, you wouldn't take out any of the cards, right?
No, you would only use 26 cards. Every car gets
13.
1 suit of cards.
Okay.
13 cards
Neat.
in the race.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a real neat way of just telling you exactly how many cards you need.
Neat.
There are 13 cards in each suit, and they are numbered 1 to 12, plus a red line card. You can see some of the cool art here on the 12 card. It's called Champion, and the red line card is a +2. We'll go over how to use that in a little while. And the extend cards, the 1, 2, and 3, which are obviously low value cards, have also a special rule, a special thing that they are used for. And the rest of the cards are also really neatly designed, but don't have the cool art effects on them.
Right, because the suit doesn't matter.
The suit doesn't matter. It's just the numbers that you're using.
Cards.
But the 1, 2, and 3, as well as the red line, have special game effects. So each car is going to have a deck of 13 cards, and when you're choosing a card for that car, you're going to be able to pick up your entire hand and look at them and choose one. Here's how your turn will go and what you're going to use those for. The very first thing we're going to do, and remember, you are representing your entire team, so you want both of your cars in this partnership game, in our team game, to finish as close to the front of the pack as possible. The cool thing about this game is you can play sort of a entire season or a league of games and keep track of points throughout the season. So every single race is not that important, but you want your drivers and your team to rack up points across the season.
It's like 9 for first.
I think it's
6.
10.
Or is it 12?
It's 9 or 10,
yeah.
And then you only get 1 and 2 for the last couple of places. But yeah, you get the big points for finishing at the front of the pack. But you want your team and your driver to rack up more points across the season than the other ones. And there's a neat little pad of paper to track all of that across your season of races.
Nice.
So we'll start a race like this. I haven't dealt out the cards to everyone, but you're going to look at the hand of cards for each of your cars, and you're going to choose 1 card for qualifying. And this is how we're going to line up the cars at the start of the race. Essentially, the highest card is going to go in front, and the lowest card is going to go in back. We won't play this out fully right now, but this, except for the optional rule that I'll explain in a moment, is the only time during this game we will use the die.
Okay.
To break ties. Let's say Nikki and I, the red striped car and the green solid car, both chose a 5 for these cars, and then we would just roll off to see who started in front.
All right.
Every other tie goes to the defender in this game, and I'll come to that in a moment. But so first you do a qualifying card to determine starting order. Then every turn will go like this. You start at the back of the pack. It is red striped car's turn. The game strongly recommends that you keep your striped car on the right-hand side and your solid colored car on the left-hand side, just so you don't mix up their cards. You cannot exchange cards between your cars. You don't want to mix up those two hands of cards. They're separate. But the striped red car is challenging the green solid car in front of him, trying to pass. That's what you do on your turn. So I would look at this hand of cards and Nikki would look at this hand of cards, and we'd each choose one to put on top. Just for example purposes, I've chosen for us, and I've played a 6 and Nikki's played a 4.
Okay.
My card is higher, so I pass her. And now I continue. I challenge the next car in front of me. It's Lincoln's solid white car. And we do that again. We look at our entire hand of cards. These cards are now out of the game. Whatever is used is burned up. I've chosen an 11 and Lincoln has chosen a 4. I've passed him again. Look at me, I'm so great.
Great race.
I know, and I've got all these great cards too. I'll never stop, I'll never lose. However, my turn is over now. Your turn ends in one of 4 ways. You have successfully passed 2 cars. Turn is over. Or, if when I was challenging one of your 2 cars, I failed, you guys played an equal or higher card to mine, my turn is over. As soon as I challenge and am rebuffed, turn is over. Now, interesting thing is, after this car has taken a turn, let's say he passed these 2 cars, they are now skipped in this turn order for the round.
Okay.
The next car that goes is always the car in front of the one that just went. So if you get passed, you are now out for the round. But the good news is, you only probably spent 1 card on one and maybe a low card on getting passed, and you're saving your cards for future challenges.
Okay.
The next car that goes is always the car right in front of the car that just took a turn. So now it's the solid red car's turn, this guy. If he does not pass this car, now it's this car's turn. What happens when it's your turn and there's an empty space in front of you? Now we're going to get to the extend cards and the 3rd and 4th ways to end your turn. If it starts your turn and there's just an empty space in front of you, there's no one to challenge, there's no one to pass. So you must either play an extend card or discard a card and do nothing. The extend cards, as I showed you, are the 1, 2s, and 3s. They say extend on them. The 3 says drafting extend, and there's a special rule for that. The lead car, if he can, plays an extend card, discards it out of the game, moves up 1 space. His turn is over. That's it. If he cannot play one or chooses not to for some reason, he just discards a card. An 11's pretty good, so he probably wouldn't do that, but whatever, we're explaining the game. That's your turn. You extended, and you're done. We will now go back to the back of the pack and start a new round. The 4th and final way to finish your turn is to pass once and then extend or discard. So in this particular lineup we have here, only the solid red card could do that when it comes along to his turn. If he successfully challenges this car and passes, he now has the opportunity to extend into this space and or discard if he didn't have an extend card or didn't want to use one. Then his turn is over. You cannot extend after you've passed twice. Your turn ends immediately. You cannot extend if you failed to challenge because there would still be a car in front of you. So it's only pass twice, fail to pass, extend or discard, or in just a situation like this, pass once and then extend or discard. Those are the 4 ways to end your turn. The special rule about the 3, this is almost a Turf Master rule for our racing game enthusiasts, is the car in front may not play a 3 to extend. It's called a drafting extend because you're drafting along in that airflow from the car in front of you. There's no one in front of this guy. So it's the slight penalty for being in front of the race. You may not play a 3 to extend while you're the car in front. The game will end on the round when any one car runs out of cards. So you can see it coming. You can always ask anyone how many cards are left in a car's deck. They must tell you and show you how many cards. So you can see how close the race is to ending.
Right.
The one other card I haven't told you about is the red line cards. Those are +2s, and I did mention that. They add +2 to the value of any card. They're very rare. There's only 1 in each suit, so there are 6 in the deck. And I will find one pretty soon in this deck of cards, I swear.
Wow.
I'm just not looking at them right there. There you go, with an R on it. You can play this at any time as your card in the qualifying section at the very beginning, or anytime you're challenging or being challenged. And you would play it on top of a normal card like this. So you're actually playing 2 cards that round. So you would reveal the red line and whatever's underneath it, just adding 2 to that value. Sometimes that's going to be a waste, because if I played 11 and you only played a 5, I basically burned this card for nothing, thinking that I might get some extra value of it. But if I played a red line and a 12, you know, then I was really using my very, very best effort to get to the front of the pack or pass you or whatever. So that's the only chance that you could play 2 cards at once. You cannot play more than 1 red line at once if you happen to have more than 1 in your hand. And then, as Lincoln intimated, at the end of the round, at the end of the race, when someone's run out of cards, we go up to the front of the pack, and that's the end of the race. As Lincoln correctly mentioned, the car that finishes in first gets 9 points for the season standings, and then the second place gets 6, and then 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
And again, those are really just useful if you're going to play several races and keep track throughout the seasons. These cards that we have here, you don't necessarily need to play, but if you're going on an airplane or a picnic or something like that and you don't want to bring along the wooden track and the plastic cars, you could just play with just these cool little cars in the deck and play a much more compact game. You could even leave the rule book at home and bring along these rule cards. Just these 7 cards give you all the rules you need to play. There are about 7 optional rules in the rule book. It's a very short, economical rule book, and we're going to use 2 of the optional rules. One I mentioned involves the die. If you have the opportunity to extend into an empty space but you don't have an extend card, the go wide rule means a 1 to 3, you extend as normal. But a 4, 5, or 6 will move you back 1 position. But if you didn't have that extend card, you were already in a bad way anyway.
Right.
And if you were in last place, you have absolutely nothing to lose.
Okay.
Our other optional rule is the pit stop rule, where you can spend your entire turn once per race per car to just draw any 1 card from the discard pile instead of trying to pass or extend or take your turn. So that's a way to grab a good card or a red line or extend that you might not normally have access to. So that's the entire game. We don't know where we start yet, so we're going to start with shuffling and dealing and then doing our qualifying to see what order we start in. Then we will start LACORSA.
Of course.
I knew you were going to get that pun in there.
Some point.
Of course.
All right, 13 cards per car. And then you will stack your qualifying card or 2 on top. Just remember, never cross the streams.
Yeah.
Never mix up your 2 cards decks. 2 cars decks. Cars and cards.
Card deck.
Cars and cards. Hard to car.
Okay.
All right. Pick 1 for each, and that will give us the order. This also gives you a good glimpse into how good your hand is and what you can sort of expect for each card. All right, has everyone chosen their qualifying levels? Green solid cars coming in from the practice lap.
Yeah.
This is the qualifier.
Signore, this is the qualifying card, yes, so it determines the starting order.
Okay.
Okay? Oh. Okay, we have no ties,
Wow.
no
Interesting.
roll-offs. 11 starts in front, then 10, then 9,
Then 8.
then 8, then 5 and 4. Perfect qualifying.
Wow,
All right,
look
all those
at
cards
you.
are gone. I will.
We
Oh, yes,
actually
we,
should
do,
have
we
them
should have
because-
one
yeah.
global discard pile right
Because
there.
you're
Thank
you could draw
could
it.
draw.
The pit stop thing.
Yep, the pit stop rule. All right. I will start, and I'm challenging, just like in the example I gave, the
Yes.
solid green car.
You sure are.
So we both choose one, and we stack it on the top. Or 2 if it's a red line. I'm going to just say 1 in most cases, though.
Sure.
Okay?
I know what you mean.
I knew it. I knew you knew, but they didn't know.
Okay.
I chose an 8.
Hey, how about that?
Ah, that means my turn is over. You successfully defended.
Okay.
And it is now your turn, because you're the next car in line.
All right.
So solid green. Now, I
I'm
didn't
going
mention this.
against myself.
Yes, this only matters for team games like we're playing. If it was 6 players, you would just be challenging the next person in line. But this is called team orders, and it's an actual thing in actual racing. You still must choose a card for each car and play them, but you're essentially choosing, do you want this car to end its turn by playing a lower card than the car in front? Or do you want this car to continue its turn and skip the stripe car this round? So you still choose one card for each car, and they
Right.
challenge each other, but basically you choose who wins.
Right.
Because you control both cars. You still take a full turn, essentially.
Okay.
But the rules are clear that, you get to know who wins. They're not really competing against each other. They're listening to you, the manager on the radio, tell them to let which one through and go towards the front of the pack.
The nice thing is you can place low cards
Right.
between you two. If
Right.
if you feel one of the cards has a better chance of winning, you
Or even if you just, even if you do want this one to pass, he doesn't have to use a good card to do it.
you're right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can
Yeah.
readjust based on your.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Racing myself. Woo.
And you want them to stay in that order.
Yes.
So this one used a 4 to not pass the stripe.
Right.
And now it is, go ahead and discard both those. Now it is the stripe car's turn.
Versus
And it's
my stripe
versus
car.
Lincoln's white stripe car. The white stripe car.
That's right.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, no more copyright striking risks. You all sing a White Stripes song at home every time we say that.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
that wasn't what I was
Oh,
going
wasn't
to
the one on
play.
top? Okay.
It got caught.
Sharp-eyed viewers know that. Oh my gosh! Another tie rejection.
That's the end of my
This
turn.
is such an exciting race, folks. All right.
Yeah.
So he successfully defended.
Yes.
This car's turn is over, and now Lincoln is doing team orders. So he's got to play a card
Right.
for each car. A car for each car. A card for each card. A car for each card. And
Bam.
what? Wow, look at all these ties. All right, so he has chosen.
Silliness.
I know, but it does kind of help you
Yeah.
use those bad cards.
Especially
Yeah.
when you're versus.
And so,
Aaron doesn't
again,
have that treat.
So now he's challenging my solid red car. So, what do I do? Champion.
Champion. So you stay.
I stay. And, unsurprisingly,
Extend.
Extend.
Boop.
back to the back of the pack where it's my turn. Stripe car challenging solid green.
Okay.
If you play the same card as me every turn, I'm so
I
mad.
know, I know, I know.
That'd be, it'd be amazing if you did it every single time.
Oh,
Oh my gosh! Wow, that was a perfect red line because
Wow.
10 fought off 9.
One little tiny.
Yep.
That's great.
That is great for someone. All right. Now your turn again for team orders because solid is challenging stripe.
All right. So.
So that's the one in front.
Yeah.
And that's the one behind.
What did I do again? Oh, this is so bizarro. Okay. Ta-da!
All right. So you passed yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Meow.
So stripe does not get a turn this round and is still solid's turn.
Challenging.
Right. And
White stripe.
And you can pass only one more time this turn. So if you pass or fail, this is the end of your turn. It's very realistic.
I'm going to play something, but I'm not sure if it's a legal play.
I don't think there are any illegal plays,
Okay.
so yes.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep. You have played a 5. There's
Yes.
nothing
Okay.
illegal about that. But it is not enough to
No,
pass
it
the stripe
isn't.
car. So toss those cards
Okay.
and white stripe challenges white solid. And it's not a bad use if there doesn't seem like there's really going to be an empty space to extend in front of you anytime soon.
Right. And I can't, if for some reason I was in the lead, I can't play that anyway, so.
Right, and if you're, again, it's not happening yet, but if there's an empty space here, a 1, 2, or 3 is just the same. They all move you one space forward.
So they're staying the same.
Staying the same, 7 versus 7, so the solid car now. So solid car,
All he can do is drift.
extend or discard.
Yeah, he's going to extend.
Whee.
And he does have the 3, drafting extend. And my car, there's a reason I kept him in front, because he has extend. All right, back to the back of the pack.
Challenging this
Stripe to stripe. All right, here we go.
Stripe.
Here we go. Time for some moves.
Stripe to stripe.
To stripe. I guess. Let's see. You keep screwing me up. So
I know.
Well.
I need to get away from myself.
No, I know, but I know, like it's not that.
It's not working too well
It
this
does
time.
save you cards, though. At least, I mean, if you're challenging someone else from the front and the back every single turn, it's probably not as good as being next to your buddy.
Right.
Right? I think that's a small amount of strategy.
Okay.
Okay. Watch. Now I know what you're gonna do. I know what you did.
Do
I
you?
know, yeah,
do
watch.
you? You don't.
Yes, I
you
do.
Don't. You don't. You don't.
Oh, you're right. I thought you were gonna use like a 3
You
or a
don't
4
know.
and make me waste this huge card. But at least it wasn't a total waste. All right, now I'm fighting your other car, solid
Oh
green.
boy. Okay. I don't know.
There's definitely some mind reading bluffing involved, so
Yeah.
you don't really know. Oh, well.
Solid hops. Keeps
Solid's using up his fuel. He's using up all his efforts. All
He's-
right, and it's
he
his
may
turn.
not be a great driver. I'm not sure about.
Well, it's his turn. Show us what he's got.
Not sure. Not sure about him.
How many cards does he have left in his hand?
He has 4, by the way.
Oh, this
Woof.
race is getting close to the end already.
Woof, I say.
Okay.
It's only got 1 or 2 rounds after this one. Maybe 3. Depends how fast Solid runs out of gas. Solid green.
Solid green. Ready? Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, she
That's
has
a 4.
another red line and a baby card.
Yeah.
Interesting hand she has
Yeah.
there.
Okay, well then all he can do is drift
And what did you play against her? 12, yeah.
or extend. So drafting, extend. I say drifting, but that's not right.
Drifting's cool though. And you can't. The rules are quite clear that you can pass someone and then extend.
Oh wait, but after you've extended, you're done.
But after you extend,
Okay,
you
there we go.
cannot pass.
There we go.
Exactly.
Okay, well there it is.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I got another extend in front.
Okay.
And now we're back to you. Green
Yeah.
stripe is challenging red stripe.
When you do
in the back.
pit stop, when can I say pit stop?
Now, instead of playing a card, you could just take something from the discard pile when it's your turn.
Okay.
Each card can do that.
Just once per
Right.
game, yes. Yeah! What a good defense.
No.
All right, now I'm
terrible.
challenging Solid
I
Green,
don't like it.
who only has 3 cards.
Solid Green wants to take a pit stop.
Solid Green, I think, is going to take a pit stop.
Solid Green needs to.
Wait, it's not his turn.
But okay, then.
If I pass him, he
Okay.
doesn't get a turn. He can take a
Oh.
pit stop next turn.
Okay.
But he has 3 cards, right? Or does he
He
have 2?
has 2.
Oh, and he's going to use one right now.
Yes.
All right, I think I'll use this card.
Discard.
All right.
Boom.
I wasted a lot of card
Yes, you did.
numbers on that. Yes, I did. All right. I have passed twice. Turn is over. He can't extend. He's just
Yeah.
gone twice. But you
Mine.
have skipped for the turn, so
Right.
we will finish another. You can pit stop next round.
Okay.
This
Just
can only extend or
yeah.
discard.
Yep. My game has been bad because of that.
All right, you
need to
extend.
slide.
You have a lot of 3s. You have all the 3s.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Ta-da!
And
Hey,
then this one. Wait, was that card or
we're getting close to
think
the
so.
end of the line here. How does that
no? It's this card.
work?
It doesn't really matter because the track is just an abstract of who's in front of who.
Okay.
There's no finish line or anything like that. And I would think, unless you somehow got half the extends in the deck, that it's probably not possible to move off the end of the track. But
Okay.
if it is, you just
And then
you
you
go as
just
close to.
he just dropped it that.
He did extend there.
Extend.
Yes. And red
You got
card in
roll?
front is going to discard. He cannot extend.
Okay.
Ooh.
So he's going to be challenged next turn.
Finally.
I know, finally.
Man,
Finally.
I know. I thought I might make it the whole time. All right. So we enter another round. Okay, so Stripe Green challenges Solid Green.
Okay.
Solid Green has lots of choices for his
Sure.
defense.
Okay. I just do that. And that is what it is.
It is what it is.
My last card there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boo. You couldn't do that.
No.
Okay.
All right. +2 obviously can't add to a 0.
No.
Solid Green is out of cards.
Right.
Right.
That means this is the final round.
Right.
Stripe car continues and can pass Stripe Red.
Right.
Okay.
Or can he?
Maybe.
All right. You have passed
Yay.
twice. Your turn has finished. Stripe red gets no turn. You can only extend or discard. And you move up. Here we go. Final challenge of the game, the race anyway. Solid white versus solid red.
Did I
The
do that?
challenge for the lead.
Yep.
What will be the result of the final challenge? A tie.
Oh my
a
gosh.
12-12 tie.
Okay.
I actually didn't even think I had a red line, and I had one.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so that's the
Tie.
final. Since a car ran out of cards,
Yeah.
and we finished the round.
I ran out of gas.
So this is, you really did. You
wanna
fought
see the other deck.
bravely, and you were in last place when you ran
Yes.
out of gas. Again, going for points on the season, this is 9 and 6 and 4. That's a pretty good finish. So 10 points for your team, and 3-2-1. Nikki's team not so great. 4 points total.
Right. Right.
And 11 for mine for first and fifth. And again, if you really wanted to, you could keep track of individual drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So this driver gets 9 points and is ahead in the individual driver standings, and then this would be in second and this one would be in third. I think it'd be cool to give your drivers individual Italian names, and then keep. It does have a driver section.
Well, they
on
don't have
the,
to be Italian. They're just racing in Italian.
I think they should be European for
Okay.
more realism, but you're right.
Okay.
It could be any
I
nationality.
like the score. That score
I really
sheet.
do like this, and I mean, especially if you were like taking the
Yeah.
kids on vacation or whatever,
Right.
this would be a neat little thing to go from day to day and play this a few times.
Right.
So, what did you think of Michi Lincoln?
Oh, I think it's great. I was sad that it was a lot of extending on that because I actually had good stuff. I mean, I was prepared to do what I could, and you know. And I had a lot of extend. As you saw, I was able to keep up until you ran out, actually, which is great. I wish it was one turn previous. That would have been great.
I knew...
Because this other car, one of the two, they both were kind of like, I was spending all the weak cars. I mean, I was kind of unchallenged the whole time, right? Only did I have to, like, as soon as I extended beyond the pack, all they could do was catch up to me by extending, and then I would extend on my own.
Well, I think there's clearly a definite mix of luck and strategy.
Oh, absolutely.
In this game.
But that's why you play a circuit.
And I do think you did pretty well by keeping your cars together here.
Right.
You got to economically go through those ties and get low cards out of your deck.
And then when I was challenged, I had to spend something big to just keep them in the pack.
Exactly.
Because I had so many extend cards between the two decks.
How many cards did Nikki and I waste fighting each other for last place? You know?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Silliness.
I still had 2 more extends in that deck.
And yeah, I based, I got 3 2s in this deck and a couple high cards. So I tried to start in first place and hoped that I could extend my way into keeping first place, which I luckily just barely did.
Yeah.
So a lot of it just depends on that on what you're dealt and what you think you can do with it. So there's clearly luck, and it's going to balance out some over the course of the season. But you do what you can with the cards that you're dealt, and you try to read the mind a little bit of the person who's challenging you. But I do think there's some strategy in keeping your cards together there if you're playing the partnership game.
What do you think, Nick? Yeah.
Well, okay, that's a good question. Did you have less fun because one of your cards kind of had a crappy hand?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I was struggling to figure out how to even use this. I didn't want to end. This deck could have
That was what was left?
Which is not a lot.
I could have, I don't know.
I think maybe your initial placement was your problem.
Yeah.
Here's what's left in my first place car, so it's pretty much out of good challenges.
The hand management part of this game, I'm not grasping. I feel I'm not grasping it. I would like to play it a few more times to get it a little better, but I feel like there was a way to possibly play my hands a little bit better. I probably wasn't going to win. Well, at the beginning of the game, I thought I might win because this deck actually had a whole bunch of the red lines.
But did you have high cards on top of that?
I didn't. I ended up, instead of using the high cards with the red line, I used the high cards to fight with Aaron without the red line. So then at the end, all I had was red lines and low
red
cards.
Red +3 and red +2.
And it was weird. So there's definitely, for me, a hand management thing I'm not grasping.
Right.
I almost think hand management is not quite the right term.
Okay.
It is, but it's also just a number of...
Well, when you've got two cards...
It's luck based on what you're...
There's definitely some hand management when you have 2 cards next to each other. You know what I mean? You're like...
There's luck based on what you've gotten.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely a little bit of bluffing and mind reading on what's Lincoln doing right now. Is he going to use that 12? Or can I get away with trying to pass him with a 7 or something right now? Or can I fight off this challenge with an 8 instead of my really good card? There's definitely that sort of little bit of a poker face and bluffing to it. But yeah, you're right. I think the most strategy is that challenges and keeping your cards together in a partnership game. You're not always playing partnerships. It could just be your one car. But also, I do think, we played this once before this session, and I really do think there is a lot of strategy in that very first qualifying card.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking at that deck and figuring out, what can I do with this? What challenges am I going to be able to make? What challenges am I going to be able to fight off? And how many extends do I have? And so where do I want to position myself?
Yeah.
What's that first card I should choose is almost the most important choice.
Right.
Which is kind of neat for a game that has a lot of luck in it. I think it's a neat choice.
Right. Probably for placement, I should have done my highest cards.
Maybe.
Because then it would have been the people towards the back would have to do more work to catch up to me.
But
and
I also
could be getting rid of smaller cards possibly.
I had a similar thought. Like, this car had a pretty good deck, actually.
Yeah.
But I played a low card because I thought I would have more time to do a lot of passing.
Yeah.
And in fact, the first 2 turns, you tied my card and stopped my turn immediately.
Yeah.
So it didn't work out that way.
Well, it didn't help me either.
What's left in that deck?
I don't even want to show you because it's too good. I had a 10 and a 12 that I was saving.
Oh my gosh.
And extends to get to like the blank spots, but
Yeah, that's terrible.
kept
They just didn't
blocking
work.
you.
It didn't work out in the right order for me, basically. I really thought I would start in the back and move up to at least the midsection, and it just didn't work out for that car. So I definitely had a strategy that didn't work out, which is, I think, part of this game too.
It's neat. I think, and the production's really cute. I mean,
production
it's
is
really,
kind of
really
amazing.
nice.
I
love.
It's not
it reminds us of Neil Bourne a little bit. Which
it does.
The old
I
version
totally
have.
agree. I think this is a great production for not really that expensive of a game.
Right. It's really cool. I think they should. I don't know that they sell the deck just separately. They do have it. It's in a deck box in the game.
Yes,
But
and
they totally
just
could, because you could get it without the
very
rest of this.
portable,
I
just
mean,
the
I
deck of
love these
cards,
cars.
yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, the
But
cards
it's
are
absolutely
great.
not necessary.
There are, like I mentioned, several other alternate rules, just mini little things to spice up the game if you want to add a little more complexity and
Cool.
options too.
Well, thanks for teaching us, Eric.
You bet, buddy.
And thanks to you for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to our channel. If you click on the bell, you get notified when we put up new videos. See you next time.